Hello and welcome to the third and final episode of Thriving Through Sports. I'm Darren Plummer, your host. We have some amazing people here today joining us. You're not going to want to miss what we have to say. Don't go anywhere.
A degree in digital media production with an emphasis in live studio and sports production will enhance your knowledge in multicam studio and sports broadcast. Our faculty members bring real-world experience to the classrooms, and students can showcase their work in different media outlets, including live streaming under the MIAA network and UCM's CTV. For more information about this and other emphasis areas within the digital media production program, please visit ucmo.edu/DMP.
All right, welcome back to Thriving Through Sports. This is our third and final episode. I've hoped you enjoyed the first two episodes. I know I sure did. I told you we have some amazing guests. Let's get to meet them right now. We have Lucian, who is one of the mentors. We have Gary, who I'm going to let you tell them what you are here in a little bit. And then we have Kaylee, another mentor. So, Gary, why don't you get us started with kind of your role in Thrive and, how long you've been a part of it?
Yeah, I've been part of Thrive now. This is my 7th year as part of Thrive. Instructor liaison. So as an instructor, I teach classes to the Thrive students. We're also a liaison. I help set up classes, internships. And I know a lot of our students have taken your classes, which is always great.
Yeah, excellent. You don't teach the cooking classes, though?
I do cook at home.
Okay, but you don't teach them to cook?
I do not teach them.
All right. I had the wonderful opportunity of talking with Mr. Brunkhorst last time. We talked about the cookie challenge that happened last year. And I told him I went on that mailing list again to make sure that
you were part of that.
I was part of the judging crew on that. So, Kaylee, we're going to move over to you. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in Thrive?
Yeah, so our lead mentor, Chloe, actually kind of got me involved. I met her last year at the beginning of the school year, and we became really good friends, and she introduced Thrive to me, and I went ahead and volunteered, and I just kind of fell in love with the program and became a mentor in the spring, and just felt like I had a lot to learn from the students.
All right. So I heard this nasty rumor earlier. You're graduating in May. You're going to leave the program?
I am graduating in May.
What would you major in?
Kinesiology, pre-OT.
Awesome. Yeah. You got any plans, anything on the horizon when you graduate?
Grad school for occupational therapy. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Yep. All right, let's move across the table here to Lucian. Lucian, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in Thrive.
So I knew Chloe before we came into the Thrive program, and Chloe's sister told me and asked me, because I grew up volunteering for Special Olympics and all that stuff, so I never actually volunteered. Normally they volunteer and then become a mentor. Mm-hmm. I skipped it, and so did Chloe, and then
I think he's calling you out, Kaylee. He's saying that you had to volunteer first.
Yeah.
The normal process is to volunteer,
yeah.
But I kind of came in. This will be my second year. So
Chloe's the dedicated one.
Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't take the shortcuts.
Every volunteer, mentor, she's going to watch this and think that her ego is going to be really high.
Okay.
Out of this.
Well, no recruiter.
But she's like our recruiter. She's out there.
Hey,
well, she
Chloe's
didn't answer the call to come join us. So.
Yeah, I think she's in chemistry class.
Yeah, she's in chemistry lab right now.
I guess class does take a little precedence of it. So, first of all, I just want to thank you all for being here because when we took this task on for part of the class to do a podcast and we wanted to revolve it around Thrive, I wanted to get some of the inside intel from people. So, joining us, I really appreciate that, and I know our listeners are going to enjoy that as well. On another note, I want to thank you just for doing what you're doing because I don't think people realize how involved it can be, and it takes a special person to volunteer. So I guess Lucian's not as special as I thought he was since he skipped the volunteer part. But just wanting to be a part of somebody's life and to make an impression on them is truly special. So on a personal note, I would like to thank you, and I know that it's something that it's a calling that you've had, and I've hoped you have enjoyed what you've done, and just know that you've made a huge impact on some of these students. So, Gary, I'm going to move over to you here for a little bit. Tell me about when students want to do sports and they want to be involved with it. Mr. Brunkhorst told us a little bit last time about what the nuts and bolts of it are. I want you to tell us a little bit about how enthusiastic the students are when they find out they get to play some of these sports.
No, I agree. Kind of go on to what you said, Darren. If it wasn't for our mentors, our students could not do, and intramurals.
Yep.
These guys take them out to practice at night. They go to Ellis Field. They go down to the rec center. They put a lot of time there. People don't see that.
Yep.
And they coach them. Some of our students have never swung a bat.
Yep.
They have never fielded. And sometimes it's kind of funny going there, and these guys have a great time with them. They're patient, which is great, but our kids are so enthused about being on the field.
Yep.
You've been there. Some of your other students have been there when our kids get a hit.
Oh, yeah.
Or when they field a ground ball.
Yep.
Or they make a throw that they didn't think they can make it. And they come in and give everybody a high fives, or when the crowd gets into the game. Because we do get a crowd. It's kind of amazing. All the people that show up for it. And these guys, I mean, again, they take a lot of their time. And these guys are busy. I mean, they're not only mentors, but also they're taking 15, 20-hour credits. Lucian plays in the band, in the band here. Like Kaylee said, Chloe's on my mind. Kaylee said she's a kinesiology major with that. So plus they have jobs sometimes too.
Right.
So they do a lot of things with our students. Some of our students, when they come, they have done the Special Olympics like Lucian talked about, but some of them have never played sports. So our sports range from softball, they play pickleball, bowling. I think we did volleyball.
I think a
did
little bit ping pong.
Ping
Yeah.
pong. Ping pong's a big
We
one.
did the ping pong tournament.
Ping pong tournament.
I think some of them want to play basketball this next semester.
Last year we
That's
had
what Gabe is one of the students in the class. He was on episode 1. He said basketball is something that he wants to get back involved with. He did it in high school, and so he's kind of looking forward to that. So, Lucian, what sport do you mentor? Do you mentor a specific sport?
The main one, like most of the mentors are involved in the softball.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're mostly all there. We have to like take turns on who has to stay back
Get
and
the
monitor
line
the
up
hall.
and-
Well, like
stay
there has
back-
to be someone
stay
on the
on
hall.
campus.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
yeah,
we have
okay.
to have a schedule for who has to stay back. But
So, Mr. Brunkhorst told me last time that their mentors are now playing also.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We-
so
I
that
did
wasn't
all-
like that when I went to the game with Ben.
we are all
the
allowed
mentors
to
were
play.
not. Yeah.
Some of us don't.
Okay. I take it that means you don't play?
I am not the best softball player,
Okay.
but I will be there and cheer them on.
Excellent.
But you
Excellent.
played ping pong, didn't you?
I played ping pong.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Did you dominate? I
Yes.
feel like you
Well-
dominated. Yeah. Yeah.
I made it pretty far.
but some of our mentors are very competitive.
Yes. Well.
And some of them
Okay.
are competitive, right?
Yeah, I actually slid in the into base.
Cleats first,
it was
I
more
guess.
of like
You took somebody out.
it was more of like a fall into home plate, but I tried my best. We have a picture of it after, like whole side is.
I'm gonna need a
dirt.
copy of that to put on the podcast.
Okay.
We like to throw some pictures in
I
there.
can send
so.
it to you, don't
Okay.
you worry.
Excellent.
It's kind of amazing when our students see our mentors play.
Yeah.
Our students just love watching our mentors
Yep.
play because they see them how competitive they get.
Yep.
And then the Thrive students get into it. But also the other teams that we play, they get into it.
Oh,
and
sure.
You've been there
Mhm.
at the games, and they high five our
Yep.
kids, and it's just great to see everybody just
Yep.
working together with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, anytime sports are involved, it's always a competition, right? I mean, you can say, "Oh, we're doing it for fun," but no, you want to win. You want to slide into home, right? You want to do what you have to get that run in or whatever. So, what position do you play when you play?
I honestly only bat.
Oh, wow, okay.
We let the students play all of like the positions other than pitching. One of the mentors always pitch and catch.
Okay.
But usually we bat. I was pretty shocked that I actually hit the ball.
I was gonna
to
say,
be
how did you get on
honest.
base here? I mean, if you slid into home, you had to get on base. What'd
Yeah, I mean, I hit the ball.
you do? Yeah, out of the infield.
It was in the infield.
Okay, so-
I just ran my hardest. But I was prepared to truck whoever was on home because I was getting the
Yes.
point.
Yes.
We did get the point.
Excellent. All right, and you were there to witness the solution.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And you the one that took the picture?
Probably not.
No.
No,
Okay.
I think
All
our
right.
other mentor Jamie did
Okay.
actually.
All right. Well, that sounds really fun. So, when you sign up, I can't ask Lucian this because he skipped this process. But when you sign up to volunteer, what are some of the tasks that you're given? to me, and I deal with this a lot when I try to get students to volunteer for a broadcast or something like that. They don't always follow through. They see it as a volunteer. Oh, okay, if I'm not there, what are they going to do to me? Fire me? No, I volunteered, right? So what do you do as a volunteer, and, how do you keep motivated to want to show up as a volunteer?
Yeah, I think you just really have to have the passion of like loving what you're volunteering for. I do know like sometimes there are volunteers that don't always show up, but they just may not have that passion for the program like some of us do. For me personally, I didn't do study hall throughout the week volunteer because I was a commuter at the time. So I'd help out in the classroom during the day. So I didn't get as much volunteer experience as some people may have had.
More than Lucian.
Yeah, I guess more than Lucian.
That's the bar.
But,
I mean, he's above the law, apparently.
So is Chloe then.
Yeah, Chloe is above the law.
She makes the law, apparently.
I know. Okay. But I think you just really have to have that passion for it. And I really fell in love with the students and what I was helping in the message behind Thrive. So that's what helped me keep showing up.
That's awesome. Sure. All right, Lucian. So you went straight into the paid position, but kind of the same question to you. You talked a little bit about why you wanted to do it, but what keeps you wanting to come back and be a part of it?
It's just a very rewarding position. You get a lot. You give a lot into it, but you get out a lot as well. And if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have came back a second year. It's just you get to see them grow, the students grow, and you get to see them find new things that they enjoy, like softball, and then you get to be there to help them through it, and it's just it's rewarding.
Yeah. Episode 1, I had the paper with me. I don't have it with me now, but it talks about kind of the mission statement of Thrive. And Gary, I think one of the things it said was changing lives of students with disabilities. And I said, I think you can take that with disabilities off there because these are students and you're changing their lives. And you're also changing students without disabilities' lives.
Oh, definitely. And I kind of go back to what these guys said. They become friends. There's a point where they'll graduate, the Thrive students will graduate, but guess what? They'll stay in contact with each other through social media. Wow,
that's awesome.
We had a young man, Shane, was in somebody's wedding a year ago.
I might have saw a picture of that at one time.
I saw a picture of that. Even though they're all going different directions, guess what? They're staying in contact with each other. And kind of, they get some kind of pay for this, but for what they do.
Yeah, I can tell right now they're not here for the pay.
No, they're not.
They're not here for the pay.
They're not here. All of our mentors, we have 6 mentors this year, and it's kind of neat. We actually have 3 male mentors and 3 female mentors.
That's nice.
Perfect.
We never usually it's like 5 females and 1
male.
I think Lucian, you had that. Was that for sure?
I was the only. No, it was me and Colton.
Colton was here, yeah. And they all have different majors that they do, which is great. But I think they take all the stuff that they have learned on campus and implement within our program. I mean, there'll be some nights that these guys are up till 11 o'clock midnight just talking to the students, or if we have something that happened, like if one of our students cut themselves, they take care of it.
Really?
Or if it's really bad, then they call one of us, and we'll come in and maybe take the student to the hospital. I've taken a couple of students to the hospital. Emma, I had to take her to the hospital one time.
I heard about that.
Yeah. So, but these guys, I mean, one of them is on duty every night from 5 o'clock at night till about 6 o'clock in the morning and then they all of them have a weekend that they do weekends from Friday evening and all the way until Sunday night, and then they do activities within the weekend, like they'll take them to the football game, or they do cooking activities.
The homecoming parade, we talked about that last episode. There was a nice float. I won first place, right? Or second place? Second place?
Yeah.
We'll say first.
Yeah.
It should have been first.
Yeah. Did you all partake in that?
I helped, not to brag on Chloe, but she did a lot of the work. So
Chloe did a lot.
I did help her towards the
Maybe
end,
she's
though.
why you got second, not first.
Maybe.
I don't know you, Chloe, but
or it would have been first, but I helped a little bit.
Oh, so you well? I guess it goes both ways.
And unfortunately, Lucian's he couldn't be on the float because he's in the
band.
He's in the Marching Mules.
Okay. What position or what instrument position?
I marched the huge tenor drum.
Oh wow.
So-
Okay. You got to have a strong back for
Yeah,
that.
it was not the most
Comfortable?
painless experience at the parade.
But the weather was nice that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that helps. Yeah.
It was pretty chilly.
Yeah. Was it? Was it?
It was
yeah, I guess
chilly,
the
but-
early in the morning for the parade is
Yeah,
chilly.
but
The
once-
game weather was nice.
Once we walked like all 2 miles of it, I was sweating. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you sign up, you want to do these sports. Let's talk about practice a little bit. Both Mr. Brunkhorst, Gary, they both talked about how you have these practices, whether it's at our East Field, our turf field. Tell me about a practice. I heard there were some water balloons maybe involved in one of the practices. Did I hear?
I don't remember that this year, but I think it's
Okay,
happened in past
it's happened in
years.
the
Yeah,
past.
for
It
sure.
Okay.
happened last year.
Practice. Honestly, I can't say any of us mentors are great at playing softball, but we make it fun. Usually we have another volunteer that has came in the past. We've had a football volunteer. We've had somebody from the baseball team come in and volunteer. It's a good time. We usually just do a few drills, grounders, practice on batting. Usually the mentors get in and bat, and it's a good time.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, we're going to step aside for a little commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about thriving through sports. Don't go anywhere.
Rise believes that each individual deserves the right to seek their own perfect life, a life full of hope and empowered by self-choice. Come meet our family. Come watch us live. Watch us work. Watch us play. Watch us rise.
All right, welcome back to Thriving Through Sports. This is our final episode, episode 3. We've had a wonderful time through 2.5 episodes so far. Got some great people here with me today. Lucian, Gary, Kaylee, they were all bringing a new aspect of the Thrive program to the show. Lucian, when we talk about softball, yeah, you kind of seem like that's okay. Yeah, I go, I watch. When we said ping pong, you lit up.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to actually play. And so there always has to be a mentor there to kind of monitor things.
Uh-huh.
And so I was there doing that, but I played.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I
Yeah.
beat
You showed them a thing or
I
two, it
beat
sounds
some of
like.
the Thrive students, yeah.
Yeah.
He really put his heart and soul into it.
Yeah. Hey, passion is passion.
I didn't
you
win
know?
the whole tournament, but
Yeah, that's
Now,
okay.
you didn't throw any paddles, did you?
no. Some of the students.
Some of the students, yeah, they
got into it.
excited.
They got into
So,
it.
I'll tell you a little story about that, actually. So we talked about a couple former students that took my class, Alec and Dawson. My class is kind of unconventional. We do a lot of work outside of class because we broadcast the games. So we don't do a lot of class work. I teach them how to do the different positions and stuff. But for a final, what we do generally is we play a game. I like to get all the students and we do something fun. Last fall was pickleball, and Alec and Dawson were a team. And let me tell you, they took second place to me and my partner, which was one of the other students. But they were good.
Yeah.
They were really good. And when we barely beat them in the championship game, they were upset. Like, they were so disappointed.
Yeah.
And just seeing that passion in them and, that desire and will to succeed is something really amazing to see. I felt bad for them. I mean, I bragged a little bit that we beat them, but I felt bad for them because they played really well and they beat a lot of the other students. But that passion and that competitiveness in them was really admirable, honestly. So
Now, did you dive in pickleball? I mean, we
I
got
did-
Kaylee over here sliding into home.
stumbling, falling, sliding, whatever it was.
I
you know,
definitely had a
it's-
bruised back after that one.
Oh, geez,
So
yeah.
I'm thinking that you were diving across the
You
court.
know, I didn't have to do too much diving in the pickleball match, but we some of the students were getting into it. They had a good time. We're actually going to play volleyball this time. So, and our teams are our podcasting team. So it's actually going to be myself, Maxim, Nick, and then Emma and Gabe. We're going to be a volleyball team. So they're all in the booth area. So
So I'm going to bet against you guys.
you're going to bet against us?
Yes.
Oh, don't ever bet against us. Is that right? Yeah, see, they're all in there smiling and laughing. It's just fun, and it's something that we can do as a group, and we spend so much time together in this class because every project is a group project, whether we're doing a volleyball game, a basketball game, football game, soccer game, whatever it is. So we get to know each other pretty well, right? So just kind of doing that fun thing that we can kind of stay close and connected is fun. And so I feel like that's kind of what I'm hearing from you all when you're talking about the intramural sports with the Thrive students. It's just kind of involvement and something that they enjoy. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Gary, did they get you out there and play any?
I'm getting too old. I got the dad bod going. And, no, I don't play that much.
I feel like you could stumble, fall, trip into home just like Kaylee did.
Yeah.
I could. I might break something. I might not be able to get up.
Who's going to take you to the hospital,
Yeah, Emma
right?
might have to take me to the hospital.
Back it up.
I took her once. No, usually I drive the bus sometimes.
So that's something that I didn't realize. That's one of the many things that I've learned by doing this podcast. Ms. Brunkhorst was talking about. I asked, our softball fields are not on main campus. How do you get there? I know I talked a little bit about Gabe, one of the students. He does drive, but I assume most of them don't. And one thing that he said that was kind of disheartening, and we got to do something about it, is that you have to pay to rent the van to get them out there. I think I even said on the last broadcast, we got to get Thrive a vehicle. We got to get you your own vehicle somehow.
Yeah, no, we drive the bus. One of us, using myself and Mr. Brunkhorst, I think Miss Souther drove the bus one time this year, Mrs. Gardner. So we kind of rotate that around. But a lot of our students don't drive, so we get them out there. And we avoid don't want the mentors to be the taxi. So we get a bus from UCM, and we pick them up, and then usually we take them out there, and then we stay. And usually our games are around 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, kind of depends on the time. Usually the games last about an hour, then we drive them back. Yeah. But kind of goes what you said, Darren. These guys, not only the mentors, but they spend a lot of time with each other in the dorms. Our mentors live on the hallway with our Thrive students, and they get pretty close, like we were talking about earlier, with them. But then they also sometimes see each other just walk into classes or eat in the dining hall together.
Do you all get to partake in the cooking class?
No.
I see these pictures. They're cooking all this amazing food.
Oh, I hear about it a lot.
You hear about it?
They made, I think, egg rolls or something. And I was like, why did nobody bring me back any to the dorms?
That was rude.
I know.
Yeah.
They've got to include you in that.
I know.
Or we
Taste
do
testing, if nothing else.
We do a cooking activity, and they'd be like, we made this last week in this class. I didn't know.
Wow. Man, you think they'd reach out.
It's probably better, too, because I'm not a great cook.
So one of the things that I'm always amazed with when it comes to the Thrive students is punctuality, their willingness to partake in classroom activities. Is that something that's part of the essence of what you're teaching these students on how to live day to day?
Yeah, you're probably lucky because your class is not like 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's true. I couldn't do that.
My classes are at 8 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes that first couple of weeks, getting the Thrive students out of bed sometimes.
Okay. Is that because of the new freedom that they're
I think it was the new freedom.
Okay.
I would say it was the new freedom because mom and dad aren't there to get them up out of bed. Sometimes that first week, the mentors go knocking on doors to get them out of bed.
So you have to get out of bed too, huh?
Yeah, I have a lot of 8 a.m.s anyway.
Okay.
So.
All right.
So I think that's part of it. But also, it's amazing, and these guys can talk about that, how much, as a first-year student, they change to a second-year student on how much they grow
Really?
With it, on how much independent responsibility. And we see that growth in them also from being a first-year student from first semester to second semester, too. A lot of our kids, like we talked about, just playing intramural sports is outside their comfort zone. And guess what? These guys talk them into doing it, and they get out there, and we talked about it, they just have a good time.
Yeah, they love it.
And they smile, and some of the stuff they do. But also here on campus, I think some of our students never thought going to college was going to be something
In the cards. Sure.
in the cards for them, or taking classes like your class. And so they just take that and run with it and go on with it. Sometimes our mentors have to kind of nudge them to go outside their comfort zone sometimes. Some of our students they have no comfort zone. They go do things. They go downtown. They go to all the sporting games. And you see this with some of our students. Some of our students that you have right now, Emma and Gabe, their comfort zone taking your class and doing some of the stuff that they do was outside their comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I think with you and your fellow students,
They've
pushing them to do that
they've
stuff.
opened up a lot.
And they've built those relationships with your students. And like we talked about earlier, it's amazing. Our mentors are there at the games and us, but other students show up. And you brought a big old fat head one time from one of our students, and you guys were there cheering.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it becomes a community and how we kind of take care of each other. Do they frustrate me sometimes? Yeah. They frustrate me sometimes. I think they probably frustrate these guys. But then they'll do something that it's like, oh, wow, they did that. Or they get up in the morning without us having to. And you see that in your classes, Darren, where they do something and it's like, okay, me knocking my head against the wall paid off.
Yeah.
Because they
when it finally clicks,
Yeah.
it's really something. We talked, I think it was early in episode 1, we put Gabe on a camera in one of our volleyball matches, and just the willingness to want to learn.
Yeah.
Not all students have that. And so he was very locked in, very, in the zone, and wanted to, do the best job that he could. And it's just amazing to see that. And I think that kind of spills over to my other students. They see, it's contagious, right? Effort can be contagious. You see someone putting the effort in and you're like, why am I not putting that effort in? And so you start doing it. And so, I think that's something that the Thrive program, it seems like they instill into all the students is effort.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to have effort.
I think they see these guys as the role models because these guys are putting a lot of time in their classes. Kinesiology major, playing the band, going to nursing school.
Yeah, I just found that out as well. Lucian's going to next spring?
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, go into the nursing program.
They see
Gotta pass
that
the class.
on the time that they put in with their studies and getting up. And these guys stay up and help the Thrive students grow. They have to help them through some drama issues.
Yeah, okay.
Don't want to use that word, but we have that sometimes. Yeah. But I think the mentors are those role models. And it's just not about teaching them to go to class, but also teaching them life skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these guys do it. I don't think we could have our program if we didn't have mentors like these guys. And I tell that people all the time because I don't think people see all the stuff that these guys do outside of just the daily things.
Day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
So not counting this podcast, because Kaylee's already made it very apparent that it was out of her comfort zone to do this podcast.
Oh, yeah, it is out of my
So
comfort
let's
zone.
not talk about that part. What are some things that you do within the Thrive program that maybe took you out of your comfort zone?
Oh. Coming into Thrive, you do kind of become, we are mentors. We do become that mentor and that role model. And you do help with a lot of different issues. Definitely wasn't in my comfort zone at first. Just becoming a mentor in general. I'm an only child, if I'm being honest. I've never had that other sibling relationship. And a lot of the students become siblings, friends, and you kind of have that relationship. And I was out of my comfort zone for sure.
Lucian?
Probably just it's more of a leadership role. And so it's they're looking up to you. And so you have to just make sure that you know what you're doing. You're doing everything right.
There's pressures that come with that.
Yeah,
anytime you're put in a leadership role and there's people that are looking up to you and watching what you do, there's pressure that comes with that. And so I can definitely see how that would take you out of your comfort zone, just feeling like everything you do is under a microscope.
I would say these two as mentors, they're the more quiet ones.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I would say
and they signed up to be on the podcast. That's everybody else must be in class.
I've seen them grow in the year and a half they've been with us, where they're not as quiet. I would say Chloe and Jamie probably the more louder one. Colton
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Chloe's the most outgoing one.
Yeah.
I am more like want to stay in my little bubble, and she drags me out.
We all need that person in our life.
But these guys have just grown. I see them as mentors, like in a leadership role, where they have grown in the leadership role where when they start, off as a volunteer, we know Lucian didn't volunteer for us, but
It must be nice, am I right?
our time.
Yeah, we're good.
But when Lucian came in last fall, he was the quiet one. I could tell he was kind of like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
Am I correct about that a little bit?
A little bit. I mean, I was warned, so
Yeah.
So you kind of knew.
yeah.
But you say you were warned. So what you were told, is that how it was? Or was it even more different than what you thought it was going to be coming into it?
At times, it can be emotionally overwhelming,
Mhm.
just because, like you said, like we're not just helping them with class, but we're helping them with just simple life
Day-to-day stuff.
stuff. And sometimes they're going through stuff that we're trying to help them with, and it's like I have my emotions on my plate and
Right.
yours. And
Yeah,
it's like,
that's heavy.
and last year the first semester was kind of rough, but it got better, and
Yeah.
so
Okay, so I got to ask the $1 million question. If you had to do it all over again, would you do it?
Absolutely. I think it's helped me like enlighten in life in a way, and help me in my future profession as well. And
Which
see
is?
people occupational therapy. hopefully.
Occupational therapy.
But see people for who they are and not the disability or
Yeah.
whatever they have going on. And yeah, I think it's helped me become a better person overall. And it's kind of cool whenever the students ask me what I'm majoring in, because they're like, oh, I had an occupational therapist. So it's definitely made me want to work with students with special needs. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Lucian,
yeah,
do it again?
I would do it again. I have.
Yeah.
Well, I did. This is my second year.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah, it's gonna be sad when I leave.
Okay.
Because it's become part of my life for the past 2 years. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we're probably pretty close to being out of time, if not over. I want to thank you all, A, for being here, but B, just being yourselves. I think it's a true calling when you come in and do something, whether it's a volunteer role, which Lucian doesn't know anything about, but or an actual mentorship. It does take a special person, and so I thank you on a personal note. Because I see the difference you're making in these students, and it's truly amazing. And so I want to ask one last question kind of here. Talked a little bit to Mr. Brunkhorst about, I've got a garage full of softball stuff my daughter used to play. I'm going to gather some of that stuff up and bring it in. What other stuff? Ping pong, that's probably something that you can get at the rec center, but are there any other sports that they play that you could use gear that maybe we could put a call out to people to see if we could get some gear gathered up?
No, I really don't feel like we do any other activities that have a lot of gear, but I do know like some of like mentor activities on the weekends. One of our mentors is a physical education major, and he's done like some of the, activities that he's learned in class. So like hula hoops and things like that have helped over the weekend. So maybe some like special like PE equipment.
Yeah,
Okay.
he definitely, because he borrows some of the physical education equipment
Yeah.
in his to do some of the activities, because our mentors do a lot of Thrive activities. So anything people want to donate to us, we definitely use.
Do you have a place to store it?
Because we've added onto our into our Thrive area, so we definitely can use it. And like we talked about, these guys do Thrive activities on the weekends, whether it's cooking or physical education or crafts. So we definitely can use whatever that they want to donate to our program.
Okay. So how would someone go about that? Is there a
I would say
person they should reach out to?
I would say Mr. Brunkhorst through his email address, because he's the director, and he could definitely coordinate how we can do that. And if people don't know, it's definitely, they can go to our website, which is on UCM website, and they can find his contact information there.
Okay.
And we definitely could use it, and our mentors use it, and we can use it in our classes.
Excellent.
We definitely could use some stuff.
Awesome. Well, we will have some on-screen graphics that have that information so people can reach out and do that. once again, thank you very much for getting out of your comfort zone. You did a wonderful job.
you.
I couldn't tell you were nervous at all.
I'm glad I wore black today.
Yeah. So, thank you, Gary,
No problem.
for all
Anytime.
you do. I know, as Mr. Brunkhorst said last week, it's a lot of work. I told him, I said, I feel like I work a lot of hours outside of the normal time, but I see he's, I think even last night I saw he was at somewhere south maybe or something.
Yeah,
or
he was
somebody
down at Holliston, Missouri.
Yeah,
doing some recruiting.
doing some recruiting and talking about the program, and so I know that can be taxing on your day-to-day life, and so thank you for everything you do for the program as well, and I've had a great time doing this. So you've been watching the third and final episode of Thriving Through Sports. We've had a wonderful episode, learned a lot more stuff about this wonderful program. If you can, please get involved. Please help them where they need the help. It's something that's changing lives on and off campus. Thanks for watching.